Hello guys, Solitary Game here, back from our part of Killer Queen, and let's get started. They arrive at the rendezvous point, a small room in the northeastern corner. Having finally reached their destination, Soichi sat Sakumi down gently and closed the door. He then managed to drag her exhausted frame across the room to a piece of furniture to rest. Ryu. Soichi took a deep breath as sweat ran down his body from the exertion of having to draw Sakumi the whole way. He then stretched his limbs and repeated this action. Sakumi, who was still in shock, wept loudly. I know. Sakumi-san! Soichi immediately put his hand on Sakumi's shoulder as she continued crying. Hey, everything's gonna be alright. I won't let anything happen to you, I promise, so don't be scared. Then what? Sakumi shook Soichi's hand away. It was as if she was frightened of that very action. Nothing could have done to save her. Sakumi-san? She began screaming. What? Calm down, what are you even talking about? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Soichi had no idea what Sakumi was getting at. Why is she talking about me? What does she mean by wasn't scared of me? Sakumi took something out of her pocket and hurled it to the floor, as if trying to smash it. Hey, don't do that! It was Sakumi's PD. Notice the graphic on the screen wasn't of the 5 she had earlier. What was down there was a black and white picture of a jester. The Joker? But how? Why? Soichi stared dumbfoundedly at the Joker. No, she wouldn't want that. Sakumi then reached into her pocket again. Clatter. She placed her other PDA on top of the Joker, with trembling hands. You gotta be kidding me. The instant Soichi looked at Sakumi's other PDA, intense shock ran through him. Much more than when he had seen the Joker. The backlight illuminated the PDA's graphic, revealing a queen along with a giant heart. In that instant, Soichi now understood what Sakumi was trying to say. Sakumi was the owner of the queen from the start. She decided to use the Joker when I revealed that I was the ace. Was she scared of me or worried about me? Probably both. So after she checked Nagisa's and Fumika's PDA, she chose to disguise the Joker as the 5, which had one more relatively safe release conditions. Well, it kind of was your fault then, because we had to go to all the checkpoints because of you. Just as Sakumi had thought we were completely capable of being comrades without any worries. But because she had chosen the 5, she had to fulfill its respective release conditions. Meaning they had no choice but to explore even more, forcing them to walk through that hallway, which in turn led them straight into that trap. That's what Sakumi was saying. Well, she is responsible for the death. Sakumi was crying and shouting, much more so than when she had seen that unknown man's corpse. She continued weeping as if her soul were being scraped out and leaving a hollow shell. What she thought was her showing was some slight consideration had backfired and blown up right in her face, so he's gonna have to kill her. Seeing Sakumi this way made Soichi feel as though his heart was being pierced with a sharp blade. I know what's gonna happen. Soichi's not gonna kill her, and then he's gonna end up dying because of it. He can't kill her. Sakumi truly desired from the bottom of her heart. So it looks like it's going to be a protagonist's death at the end. If Suichi refused to end her life, then she wouldn't mind committing suicide. That was how badly she regretted the whole affair. Her inability to cope and think straight had caused Fumika to pay the ultimate price for her life. She couldn't live with that guilt in her conscience. Sakumi-san. Slight bit of consideration. That was how Suichi's girlfriend had died. I want to give Suichi a birthday present. I want to give him something exotic and delicious with him. I want to eat something exotic and delicious with him. That same slight consideration and desire ended up killing her. If Suichi had said that he wanted something exotic and delicious to eat, she would still be alive. Suichi had condemned himself for that. But there are some things in life you just can't do anything about. No matter what a person does in their lifetime, death always waits at the end. The world is full of pain and suffering. Suichi gently embraces Sakumi as she continues to weep. But I'm begging you, don't ever say anything like that again. Suichi, as Sakumi raised her chin to look into his eyes, her face warped with tears. No matter how many times she wiped them away, new tears kept replacing the old ones. What would I do if you died, Sakumi-san? Fumika's dead, and now we can't find Nagisa-san either. Are you going to leave me too?
Mitsurugi-san.
People die for all sorts of reasons. That's not your fault.
Dakedo!
If I had gone in opposite directions, things wouldn't have turned out like this. It was just bad luck, that's all. Suichi repeated those words as if he was trying to convince himself this was the truth. But again, this was reality. Sakumi hadn't deceived them. If Suichi had gone through the checkpoints in the opposite order, there were various other approaches that would have led to different outcomes. Or even if they merely changed their formation, things might have been better. With just a little more caution, things might have turned out much different. Tezuko is chasing after them anyway. There's just some things in life we can't change. Even showing kindness out of the goodness of your heart can lead to a death. That was the unfortunate combination that led to Fumika to her death. Just like with Suichi's girlfriend. It wasn't like Suichi and Sakumi had tried to kill them. It was merely the final result of their actions. I'm not going to tell you to not regret the whole ordeal, but please don't leave me alone. If nothing else. If you did, then his death would be in vain. You wouldn't be able to use his life in a meaningful way. Oh, he wants to protect her and die. His only choice would be to wait until his caller detonated and claimed his life. I need you, grip. Sakumi wrapped her arms around Suichi's back. Her grip was so strong that she wrinkled the back of his shirt. Sakumi's breath gradually calmed down. Her wild breathing and sobs from earlier had started growing slow and controlled, fading like the ebb of a wave. Are you okay? It's alright, I'm glad you're okay now. Suichi nodded and proceeded to loosen his grip in an attempt to give Sakumi some space. But to Suichi's surprise, Sakumi didn't let him go. Instead, she squeezed him tighter as if trying to drag him even closer. Sakumi-san. Sakumi then silently buried her face in his shoulder. What's wrong? Are you in pain?
いいえ、そんなことは。でも、三剣さん、もう少しだけこのままでいてもいいですか?
Sure? You sure you're gonna be okay?
はい。
Sakumi nodded.
誰かが必要だって言ってくれるのって嬉しいですね。
Yeah. Suichi nodded reassuringly. That's the reason I can keep going too. Same time, different location.
エースの小僧とクイーンの少女に20億かけよ。
The dealer's heart raced with joy at these words, because that meant the game had finally started for real. Meaning their customers were finally coming around and getting more into this whole thing. That is so sick. They're getting joy into this.
よろしいのですか? この二人が同時に勝つ見込みはほとんどありませんが。
The dealer masked his own joy and responded in a composed voice.
構わん。こういう人間が勝つところを見たくなってしまってね。どうせはした金だ。
かしこまりました。
The dealer nodded, then entered Win, A, and Q into the console in his hand. The bang rate abjuration had been entrusted to him, though through his decisions and the dealer's popularity tended to influence the others. 1 to 99. Roughly 100-fold, that's how it tended to be at the start. If the ace and queen were to win at this rate, the man who had just placed the bet would end up netting a good 200 billion yen. Whoa. You're quite the rich girl, Sakumi-san. He was talking about Sakumi's life story. The two were entertaining themselves by learning more about each other as they waited to see if Nagisa would arrive. Doing this seemed to be calming Sakumi's nerve, as she looked far better than she had earlier.
お嬢様って
Sakumi broke out in a troubled frown at Suichi's statements. But wait, doesn't he have a different PDA now? A different objective? Is it still to do the checkpoints? I mean, she lied about being a queen, so what's her real objective? What does she have to do? Still the checkpoints? Well, you said you have a house at the summer resort. Usually the word rich describes people who own a place like that.
そうだ、三剣さんはどうなんですか？
Me? There's nothing special about my life.
聞かせてほしいです、三剣さんのこと。
Sakumi smiled, apparently enjoying the conversation. As she finally cheered up, seeing her calmer demeanor put Suichi at ease, he began telling her about stories of his past one by one. So in the end, when I got there, the guy who was in the monster suit was changing his clothes, so I wasn't phased in the least. I just laughed my ass off.
着替え中のお化けですか？
Sakumi smiled as she resisted a chuckle.
私もそういうお化け屋敷行ってみたいです。
I recommend tagging along with someone. Trust me, it'll be boring to go all by yourself.
そうします。
The two of them smiled as they exchanged glances. Though I think you fit in better at a larger theme park instead of a haunted house.
どうしてですか？
It's just the impression I get from you. What's with what your background and you being a rich girl and all. Appearance aside, Sakumi agreed that she'd feel more at home in a theme park setting. Oh, speaking of theme parks, the chocolate cake at Disneyland is to die for. Disneyland? The chocolate they use there is pretty damn good for a theme park. Every time I went there, he probably cut himself off, then continued. I mean, I would buy a chocolate cake. Yet again, Sakumi had noticed something out of place about Suichi's stories. At first, she couldn't place her finger on it, but after hearing a great number of his past experience, she was sure of it. A haunted house, a theme park, chocolate cake, and before those, she also talked about a department store, an ice skating rink, a movie theater, and a beach. Those are places that you normally wouldn't go to by yourself. Mr. Razuki-san said himself, right? I recommend tagging along with someone. Trust me, it'll be boring to go all by yourself. There's definitely someone else in those stories, but that he's deliberately leaving out. Someone else who should have been with him. He's refusing to talk about them, so it must have been someone very important in his life. Is that sorrow in his eyes due to this person he's not speaking of, or am I just looking into it too much? Sakumi-san? Suichi looked at Sakumi. He thought it was odd how she suddenly stopped talking.
私も好きです。私もお父様とお母様と一緒に行った時に買った覚えがあります。
Oh, so you think so too, huh? You really can't beat that cake. It seems Suichi wasn't aware of Sakumi's inner thoughts because of the smile across his face. That gentle look he had and his tender smile. This was the other thing that Sakumi felt was strangely out of place. At first, she hoped they were out of a sense of affection for her. But she was wrong. It was different to describe. It was like his warm gaze was transfixed on something beyond Sakumi. As thought he was looking at an out-of-focus photograph. Just when Sakumi was poring over that thought. Sakumi-san? Suichi suddenly leaned over Sakumi and completely covered her. He then shoved her to the floor with little resistance. Sakumi was utterly confused by Suichi's sudden actions.
いきなり心の準備が。
Sakumi's mind was swirling with confusion. Mr. Ragi-san kept giving me those kind looks, and now he suddenly forced me down, so could this be? Shh, be quiet. Oh, yep. Suichi clamped his large hand over Sakumi's mouth, and his own voice got low and sharp. At that moment, Sakumi finally realized her misunderstanding. Suichi was looking at the door with a scared, determined look as he continued to stand the ground over her. So Sakumi didn't budge an inch. She complied and held her breath, waiting until Suichi relaxed. Tap, tap, tap. The sound of footsteps were drawing even closer, ever closer. Sakumi understood why Suichi did what he did. There was someone coming, and he picked up on it before she did. He pushed her down for another reason, then to protect her. Her cheeks turned red in embarrassment at her own misunderstanding. She caught herself not being able to look away from Suichi's face. We only just met for a few hours ago, and yes. At the moment, Sakumi understood her true feelings. She loves him already? That Suichi had stolen her heart without her realizing it. However, she could tell that his behavior right now wasn't one of affection. Her hands were trembling, and her heart was pounding so hard that it threatened to explode out of her chest. The doorknob turned. Whoever was on the other side of the door would be in the room in a matter of seconds. Is it Nagisa-san, Tezuka, or... Secondly, the door made a loud sound as it was kicked open. I know it. Thanks to the loud sound that this person made as they opened the other doors, Suichi was able to notice him approaching the room. If he hadn't heard the sound of the door to the room next to them being kicked open, then this person might have gotten a drop on them as they chatted. Tezuka was the one who entered the room. In that instant, rage began to build inside Suichi's chest. Suichi's impulse were telling him to jump out of his hiding spot to deck Tezuka right in his face. He avenged Fumika. He wouldn't kill her, but he would beat the living shit out of the bastard. However, he felt that pulse through his palm. He then heard nervous breathing. It was coming from Sakumi. He had to protect her no matter what. There was a long way to go. If he had to fight, it would only do so in a prepared manner. If things took a turn for the worse, it would spell trouble for sure. So wait for him to leave for now. Suichi thought that was the best option. Tap, tap, tap. Tezuka walked towards her hiding spot place. Kick something. Clonk, 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 clonk. His footsteps began to fade into the background and away from the pair. And this is where I'll be stopping off for today. Thanks for watching this part of Killer Queen. Have a great day, night, wherever you are. And please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And please comment if you found anything interesting in the video.